nice to see you, and so many profiles and faces there. Welcome to Talent Café number 5. Today we will continue our recent theme about meeting employers, and we have here today representatives of 5 strong companies in Vaasa and Sydösterbotten regions. We will get to know the companies, their functions and operations, as well as what kind of talents they have and are perhaps looking for at the moment. We will also learn more about these 2 regions, Vaasa and Sydösterbotten region. And actually Sydösterbotten region is a region about 100 kilometers from Vaasa to south, where Närpes and Kristinestads are located. So if you know those, so that's the region in question. And in addition, Kaisa Mäkinen from Talent Scout project will share us golden rules for job search during these quite unique times. A few practical issues before we start. This event will be recorded, and you will find it later at Talent Coastline website. We have time for a few questions after every presentation. So if you have a question to the speaker, please raise your hand and wait for your turn. Or you can write your question to the chat box. And we have also received many questions beforehand, and we will try to get back to those questions during the event if we have time. And this event is organized in cooperation with Talent Coastline and Talent Scout project. I want to thank our speakers already beforehand. Your input to this event is huge. I really appreciate your time and input. And actually I think that this is quite handy to just to sit at home and be able to follow these presentations. Okay, but let's start. Our first speaker is Yuha Hakkinen, CEO at the Ostrobotnia Chamber of Commerce. He will tell us more about the business environments in these 2 regions, in Vaasa region and in Sydösterbotten region. So please, Yuha, you can start, and we see your presentation. So
thank you. Thank you. Hello, everybody. Great to be here, and you are very important people for us. And that's why it's a pleasure to speak about the region and our companies. I only have 10 minutes on me, so I surely won't show all my slides, but Anna is going to send them afterwards. So Ostrobotnia Chamber of Commerce, we have more than 1,000 member companies and a very important player between the companies and trying to get more employees here. And we have a focus on helping Talent Coastline and helping foreign people to get work from here. That's a very important thing, that we get you here and that you find your path to the companies. We are a very export-oriented area, and that's why all the languages, all the culture skills are very important for us. We have a good variety in our economic structure. Industry is a very big part of our production chain, and the public sector isn't so big than in many other regions, which I think is a very good thing for this area. Machinery and equipment is the biggest part. There is Wärtsilä, many others. Then we have electricity and electronics. There is ABB, Danfoss, and so on. Even pulp and paper is a big part of our industry, mainly in Pietarsaari and in Hakkinen area. But it's good to know that we are quite diversified area in the way that our industry is built. There is something from Central Ostrobotnia. That's an important part of our chamber area. And now we are talking more about the Vaasa area. And here industry is big part of our business. But we go further. The main thing in Vaasa is the energy cluster. I think you all have heard something about it. It is 160 companies, and many of which are global market leaders in their fields. 12,000 people employed, and total turnover is more than 5 billion euros. And which is very important and special for us is that more than 80% of its production is exported, and that's a very, very big part of the Finnish technology, energy technology export as well. And that is very important for many of you, is that here we spent roughly 200 million euros in R&D annually. And there is a lot of investments going on in this energy cluster. I think that we don't here have the names of the companies, but the main players are Wärtsilä with roughly 3,000 employees, ABB is about 1,500, ABB Hitachi Power Grids is 550. Then we have Danfoss, which is very important, 650 employees, Veo, The Switch, and many others. So there's, if you are an energy engineer or have related skills in digitalization or whatsoever, so that's a very good focus area for you, the energy technology. Here is something about the Jakobstads area, but I think that you already heard it in some in the cafe before. So I only mentioned that boat cluster is very important for us. In this part of the world, we have Targa, for example, in Malax, which is very, very good company. Chemical industry is very big in the Kokkola area. And the main thing is we are export oriented here. That's good to know. And it's going upwards. The feeling of this region, we have this COVID pandemic still doing our lives quite difficult, and it makes the export industry quite big challenges as well. But now I think that we are going upwards, and the sun is coming up after this very dark period. This is Chamber of Commerce. We are only 7 people, but working hard for this region. Paula Erkkilä is director, with whom I do much of the lobbying and networking thing, but all help the companies and are interested in how you are doing here in this region. And I'm sitting in many of the boards of the Talent Coastline, and we have different organs trying to help you find your way in Ostrobotnia. So this was a short presentation of the region, and I'm very pleased to have questions you have to make to me. And then we have a Coastline magazine, coastline.fi, where you get more information of all the companies and this region. But please, is there any questions for me?
There are a few questions in the chat box.
Yes,
So
there are.
I will. Yes, I can read.
There's Lukumanu.
Okay, you see it. Okay.
Yeah, he's my old friend.
Okay.
Hi, Lukumanu. And yeah, the youth in the summer thought the Palkka Nuori Kampanja. I think that we have this on hold this year because of the pandemic situation. Then will the recording be available after this event? Yes.
Yes, it will be available at Talent Coastline website.
Very good.
Yes.
Any other easy questions for me?
Questions? Comments?
If not, I'm here still some time with you. So if it comes up, so I come along. But it's very interesting to hear the company voice. So that's why it's good that I stop now. Thank you for this time and your interest.
Thank you, Yuha Hakkinen, and we continue. Is Emma available at the moment?
I am.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. So our next speaker comes from a company called or named Gambit, and we have Emma Granholm here.
Yes, I will also try to share my screen. Let's see if I can, since Yuha is now sharing, let's see.
Yuha, if you stop sharing.
If I
Sorry.
No.
Okay now.
No worries, Yuha.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yes. Now we see Gambit.
You see my screen now?
Yes. Welcome to Gambit.
Yes, nice. So yes, that's also what kind of feeling I want to hand over to you today. Like, welcome to Gambit. Welcome to either join us, network with us, or welcome to see us. I hope many of you have heard about Gambit, since we're an organization that is growing quite much, I would say, in this region. We are now at the moment almost soon turning into 10 years, and it's not about Gambit just anymore. We're also more and more branding us as the Gambit Group, since we have a lot going on, and I would say that our story and these pictures also shows to you that it's not about working within projects. It's also about a lot of partnerships. It's a lot about having different companies within the group, and that we as a organization, a bunch of companies, a bunch of people can do a lot of fun and do a lot of creations, projects, and so on. I will dig more into these things with you during the session we have here. As I said, Gambit is soon turning 10 years, so we have some kind of a birthday party coming up next year. We hope that it will be a 10-year-old birthday party, since when we turned 5, it was kind of a kids party. So let's see how we celebrate, if it could maybe be a Nerf theme or something. But it's a lot of fun plans we have going on. At the moment, we have our headquarters in Vaasa, Runsod. We're about 25 people seated there. We have the office in Pietarsaari also, 3 people. We just opened it this autumn, so still feels really new, and the onboarding is still going on with the new employees, but it's really a lot of fun. And then the third location is in Varkaus, more in the eastern part of Finland, where we are now all people just to get like the business running, getting the accounts, learning to know each other, and so on. Here it's about some statistics also about the completed projects. that tells a lot, of course, that we have over 200 completed projects on a monthly basis. We are working with just to give some numbers, it varies a lot, but about 50 to 100 customers per month. It depends on, however, there are fixes, maintenance coming in and so on, but at least depending, yeah, between that 50 and 100 active accounts per month. So a lot of things. Our growth, we're today 35 plus employees. If I only count employees, we are 36. We have 2 consults also working with us at the moment, and that's the Gambit's numbers. Then within the Gambit group, I would say we are closer to 50, since Verzilla is a part of Gambit group. Verzilla is a company in Vaasa, the city center of Vaasa, that develop WordPress sites. And they also are a part of our Gambit group. And they then, as per today, you could, if it could be that you haven't read a Swedish press publication where we today announced and got some publicity about the new startup Gambit Quantic, company about big data. So Daniel Djupsjöbacka and the team Quantic is also a part of Gambit group. So the numbers are more that we are about 50 employees within the group, but at Gambit we are 35 today. We are heading to a turnover for 2.5 million for next year. So we have a fiscal that is ending in April every year. So that's still this year, even though 2020 is soon over, but not for us, since we are continuing into January, February, April, March and April also. So we have, if you look at these numbers from 2016 and to 2020, it has been hectic, and but it has been a lot of fun, and we are a proud bunch, I would say, since this wouldn't be possible without the colleagues. So it's the people that makes it all together with the customers. And what we do, we produce digital services. Within the development part, we really we really market ourselves as full stack partners within digitalization. It means that we build you anything. It's also a saying that we want to digitize anything, but not everything. So it depends on the business value and the purpose, because it's the business value basically that we always keep in mind with the customers. Is it a must-have or a nice-to-have feature? Is it worth it, both financially, but also like the work behind it? So that means system development, mobile and web apps. We have both apps for consumers, but also per today, mostly business to business. That means like that the apps or the system we're building, like a lot of Mirka is one key account that we can use as a reference. Wärtsilä, Snellman, different companies within this area. In combination with all the digitalization, we also offer planning, resourcing, project management. So I would say that the balance is that we have 24 developers, and the rest of us are within administration. So depending on if we count precise or not, but 10 to 15 within administrative tasks, and 24 that can put like code into reality also. Yes. If you are within the technical field, hear a bit about the tech stack. I would say that this is just like really a brief version of everything that we are using at the moment, but I would say like it's always about the combination that you have. So we are always looking also for unique competence like technologies, but it's always beneficial if you have some kind of good base with C#, Java, JavaScript, because the frameworks that we're using, .NET Core, React, Silverstripe, WordPress, these that are also mentioned, everything is okay, but I would say that it's your own combination that makes you strong and interesting. So never a must to have every of these, because we can offer you to grow within the projects and growth also along the way. But these platforms mentioned in the bottom, like SharePoint, Boomi, M-Files, Power BI, are more and more included into our projects and are also really attractive to the customers, I would say, since these are all really efficient tools. So combining these with the solutions we do is an everyday work for us. Yes. Then I want to open up a bit more about working at Gambit and how you can join us and how we do it. Of course, this is a part of my everyday life since I'm the one together with Tim and Erik Nylund, depending on the position we're recruiting for. I would say that that I would want to share a bit about how we're looking at the process from X to work. And why I had this X here today is because, as I understood from Anna when we were prepping for this event today, that you are all from different backgrounds. Are you studying? Have you just moved to Finland? Or have you swapped area totally, or the expertise of field you have? So that's but I would either where you come from. Of course, it takes a lot of work, a lot of effort to come somewhere, and I would want to point out as the first point of contact that I am at Gambit. And we really, we got a lot of open applications. I also think that's a lot thanks to that we're really active within different networks. We are an organization that wants to be really near to the personnel. We want to be near to the network, to the customers, not just in business related matters, but also in other topics in the community. So we definitely got a lot of applications, and I love that part of my job also. But something I really want to point out about the first delivery, and that could be like the key basically to the process. Like I would say these are the three facts or the main things that you really need to think carefully about. Maybe I would say polish. It's really important that you polish this part when you first deliver something to a company. For example, the first appearance. Are you approaching or like coming by with an open application? Is it a mail? Is it a call? Make it the best. Make it the best call you've done. Make it the best mail. Because if I look at myself, I get a lot of these first mails. I like on an everyday basis, I get cold calls like, "Hey, do you have any open position?" Maybe because since we're growing, there are always potential positions. So yes, there are always places, but it's also about getting the right person for the right place. So remember to be polished when you send that first mail, when you send that first call, because the first appearance, it stuck somehow. The documentation, if you can deliver an updated CV like immediately, then I will get to learn to know you, and if I have questions, I can present them right away instead of me having the first question as, can I have your CV? The process is just, it's quicker in that way. And if you somehow can market yourself, I would say that's like so much of a plus. Do you have a LinkedIn website? I can see your network. I can like get to get another point of view from you. So also remember to think about the marketing from a personal perspective, or maybe you have other channels today to market yourself, like do you have YouTube or a blog or Instagram, just to get some kind of glimpse, a personal glimpse of you. And if not, then maybe like really consider trying to make a maybe some kind of joke here, but this is also something that we to get you to learn know Gambit. We have office dogs at Gambit, and this is not one of our office dogs, but this has really happened that dogs have climbed up to the coding chairs, and it has been a blast. But yeah, if you can't relate to these the 3 dots here, I would say like dig into it a bit more. But I also feel like in my everyday life that these are, if I get all of these 3, then it's much more. We have come a long way within recruitments if we have these all filled or checked marked. Yes. Lesson learned. I'm challenging you here. If we come so far within the recruitment process that we want to learn to know you, have something in common, then I would say next step, if I invite something that comes in handy, not during the Corona situation. So I'm kind of sad because of this. It really sets too much boundaries, but within under normal circumstances, we really like say just, hey, you sound really interesting, let's have a coffee together. And pretty quickly or easily, you really see or realize, like, have this person next to you or in front of you. I'm like studied the website. Is he or she truly interested? And if you haven't either studied the website, gotten to learn to know the company in some kind of way, I'm always like thinking to myself, is this person really interested? Like how much is the person up to this, or how come? I would say this is a tip I have mentioned before to students. Like, if you have really imagined yourself as a part of the team on the new workplace, like if you dream about it as a normal day, like that you come to the office, you put your lunchbox in the fridge, you take a seat, you do some work, you have coffee with the colleagues. You know, if you have a fictive scenario of that, I'm sure that a lot of questions would come along the way, like, do you have an open office area? Do you have a good atmosphere? I would say if you really can put yourself into that situation, you can dream about it, have a fictive scenario, a lot of questions come along the way. And if you have prepped questions, I also feel like, hey, this person is like truly interested. And if a person is truly interested, I'm also getting interested. Like, you see, it's more of a match when you can feel energized from both parties. And just to empower everyone, I would say, like, the last tip I would want to give you and all that are applying for work, like, dare to be yourself. As I mentioned here, with open applications or open positions, either way, do we have an open position or are you sending an open application? If you are interesting, like, I mean, you are interested, I think a lot of companies can find you at least some kind of starting position, and along the way you can find tasks, fields within the company that can make you match. I would say I would like to give you my story as a result to this one, since I'm a result of this kind of story. This picture is from our summer cottage in Maxmo in the archipelago. So here you can see my subboard from this summer. I love subboarding. It comes peace to my mind, and I love to, like, just float over the water really carefully and look down what's happening beneath the surface. So yeah, that's from our summer cottage. Here are just basic facts about me. I'm a Bachelor of Business Administration from VAMK in Vaasa. I have been at Gambit since in the beginning of 2019, so about 2 years today, living in Vaasa in Sundom, and have been also for 6 years living there with my cat. I was afraid that my cat would be all over all over the presentation, but it has been behaving during my session here with you, and living here with my husband and my kid. How I came to Gambit is that word got out that Gambit is growing and they are searching for some kind of person that wants to combine a lot of administrative tasks like HR, resourcing, filling in the dishwasher, approving invoices, like taking care of office, like in a motherly way. A bunch of tasks that were presented, and the board in Gambit, yeah, but I got word from one of my friends. So what I did was, yeah, the word got out. I called Tim, I met Tim, I had lunch with Tim, and as a result of that week, basically, the answer came, can you start on Monday? I was like, no, because I'm working at somewhere else. But you see, like, by approaching a company with you really present yourself, you are interested. And if they have some kind of position and the right person comes toward them, hey, you are hired. So of course, this was a week with a lot of feelings. I challenged Gambit, but even though the position ain't pointed out like, hey, we need this and that, do we find this person? Not every time. It's a struggle. So dare to just go on something. Is it a word? Is it that you see a company grow? Do you see something changing in the market? Dare to reach out, be yourself, be unique, and so on. I think my time is really my ending here, but this about human resources was just like why I am within human resources and HR is because I'm very curious. I'm truly a people person, but also I'm very customer and service minded. So I think like my position at Gambit, where I'm in the middle of everything. I'm in the middle of new people coming in. I'm in the middle of resourcing people to the project so that we can deliver to the customers, and that I have a good understanding for business and business value. I can see that we get the work done, we can meet deadlines, we can make arrangements thanks to resources, and then having a good vibe within the company, a great personal culture is really like near to my heart. So that's why I am within human resources. Yes, thank you. This was my last slide, and sorry, Anna, I see that my
Thank you, Emma, so much.
time
This
is
was
so.
thank you, Emma, so much. This was really a really good presentation. I think that everybody got a lot of information how to approach companies.
Thank you.
Okay, Lukumanu has a question, so please, Lukumanu, a short one.
Emma, thanks very much for your presentation and the tips, the practical tips you've given. But I wanted to ask, do you have like a recruitment strategy where you recruit like students in the summer for like some job or something like that?
I would say since Gambit is very since we have most projects within our business, the projects like tempo is pretty much according to the school year. I would say, like, since many of our customers are on summer vacation during the summers, the project also tends to slow down during the summer, and that's unfortunate in that sense that we barely offer any summer positions or summer works. So I know that's a challenge for students. We offer like part-time positions during the school year. So if someone are interested to just do hours or put in hours in combination with studies, that's a possibility. But summer positions, not much, I'm afraid.
Thank you, Emma. We have to move on, but please keep Gambit in your mind. It's a growing company, so really good. Okay, and then we
thank you, Ala.
Thank you. And now we move on, and next we have Stora Enso, and Mats Killerich is going to give you a presentation about Stora Enso. So please, Mats, are you there? Do you have your microphone open?
Now I should have my microphone open. Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you, and we see.
And can you see the
presentation.
slides? Okay,
yes,
good.
Yes.
Then good afternoon, evening, when you look out the window to everybody. I would like to tell a little bit about Stora Enso, but Stora Enso is big. So we are talking about packaging solution, and actually I'm only representing the local factory in Kristiina-Kaupunki. Before I start, now I need to get to the next slide. I want to tell a little bit about myself, because I know there's a lot of foreigners here, and actually I'm a Dane. And I joined 30 years ago when I was still young. I've just graduated from university. I met this lovely girl who was Finnish, and Finnish girls are very strong, so it was a decision whether she moved to Denmark, I moved to Finland, and the Finnish has the forest, so I moved to Finland. And it is hard to find your first job in a country where you don't speak the language, and I would support the idea, keep your LinkedIn profile active, network, talk with companies, be presenting yourself and get contacts. Because I approached the same company 3 times, but I never spoke with the right person until suddenly in an exhibition, event, physical event, I met a person who didn't offer me a job, but he could give me the right contract. And 1 month later, I was employed in Neste Chemicals. But for 3 months, I was contacting, I wrote to them, I presented myself, I talked with them, but very often it's coincident about who you meet, who you talk with, and get the first contact, get the foot inside. So keep trying, even though the first company doesn't succeed, it just meant you have talked with the wrong person. A little bit about Stora Enso. We have a vision that I love. And that is very simple. Everything that today is made from fossil-based material can tomorrow be made from a tree. And just like Gambit, just because it can be done doesn't mean we are going to do everything tomorrow. But it is our vision that we want to replace fossil-based material with wood-based material. And that is easy to say, we are a paper company. But still, if you think about it as a vision, then I think it's a really bold vision. A vision is something you never achieve. It is something you work with, and everything you do should work in that direction. A little bit concrete about this, then today, Stora Enso is a lot of business unit, but if we try to divide it up, then historically, we were a paper company. But paper business is going down. I think 10, 15 years ago, it was 60, 70% of our business. Today is less than 25% of our business. We are still in pulp production. We have standard wood production, and we own a lot of forest ourselves to make sure we have raw material in the future. And now we talk about a company. When you plant a forest, you don't have the product tomorrow. It is really a company who tries to look forward. We are talking 60, 70 years ahead when we talk forest management. To do all this, we are looking at 4 growth areas today. We are looking at biomaterial innovation. Where can we use wood-based material in the future? We have form fibers, which we are developing just now. How can we actually make a food plastic bowl purely made from pulp, just like a plastic bowl is made by injection molding processes? We are in wood production, but actually we are more and more moving into how can we help, how can we make wood products into building solution? How can we build even more houses, tall houses from wood? We are into packaging materials, so instead of paper, we are now making more carton, more craft papers, etc. That is still a high volume business, very much industrial orientated. But then we have, and where I belong today, it's a packaging solution where we are very much more customer focused. With a small product, it is much more agile. By us, we are having somewhere around 30 projects, new products coming into production every month. So it is really high turnover products because we have to make a box, a packaging that fits the consumer today, and tomorrow they change the product, so they want a different size box, and we make it. So we are in the packaging solution, and the great thing about this with e-commerce, with the increased sales over distance, it is a growing business. And also here we are trying to replace current plastic packaging. Just very shortly about what is corrugated board made of. It is actually made, if I can put it like this, of paper. You have a top liner, you have a second layer of paper that you crunch and glue together, and then you have the other paper, and then we cut it into pieces. It is a very simple in one way, but and boring process. But the product comes out, is very stiff, very strong, and can be used for many purposes. When we come to what we actually do here in Kristiinakaupungki, we are part of Packaging Solution Finland, and we have a mill or plant in Lahti in southern Finland who makes the corrugated board. And at this moment, we don't make our own corrugated board. We receive them from there pre-cut. We do then printing here, customer printing. We cut out to the size, forms, design as the customer wants them. We have some waste product, but this is in principle the product we deliver. Depending on the customer, we would either glue the boxes together by us, or we will send it there like this, and they have their own box erecting machines. So again, it is not a fancy industry. It is an old industry. We have old machines, but it has huge potentials. And it is very mechanical. So if you are an IT engineer, this might not be your area of business. Just a good example, we have lately developed what we call the EcoFix bus. Just to give an example of how we are trying, this is historical made in polystyrene. We are now able to make a box that is waterproof, easy to transport. When you transport the packaging initially, it's a flat carton, and the box is erected on the fitting side. So transport-wise, it's better, and it is 100% recyclable. A little bit about Kristinestad. As you can see, Kristiina Kaupunki, where the mill is placed a couple of kilometers outside the Kristiina Kaupunki in the village called Kök. We are a small site. We are placed in the middle of the beautiful Finnish nature, and we have a nice river next to the plant that we hardly can see. We are not a big site compared to the big mill. You have in Oulu a huge paper mill in Stora Enso. But we are a nice family. Giving a little bit an idea about who we are in the big picture. We are 25,000 employees in Stora Enso globally. 6,200 works in Finland. Packaging solution in Finland is 320, and in Kristinestad we are 55 people, so we disappear on the scale. I made it here in logarithmic scale. We are small side. We are a little player in a big company, but we are a very independent company, and we like it that way. We are big away from the big bosses and things like that, so we get to do our own decisions. Today we are about 44 blue-collar employees, so who work in production, and we are 11 white collars working in finance, production, and in sales. When you are interested to work for us, then unfortunately it is currently a demand. If you are white collar, I forgot the headline, then Finnish or Swedish is mandatory. Our factory is dual language in all levels, but when you have external contacts within our company and with customers, then Finnish or Swedish is a mandatory. Currently, we have in white collar 3 shift foremen. We have 2 pre-production engineers or designers. We have 3 sales manager, 3 finance and customer service people, and 1 procurement and IT. So we are a very small organization supported by our sister company in Lahti. When we come to our production people, then we actually, I think, have at least 7 different nationalities working in the factory. We have people who are Swedish speaking, Finnish speaking, and we have several people who only speak English. Because our shift foremen also speak English, we manage all 3 languages, and I think everybody is enjoying working here. Our processes, as I said, is printing. We have die cutting, gluing process, other support processes in preparing tools, clichés for printing, packaging and internal logistic, truck driving, and maintenance is our current field of operation. So about 44 people. A little bit about working here. We just completed our personal survey 2020. And this is the results for Kristiina Kaupunki. And I'm very happy to see this is called engagement. We have people with a lot of energy. We have people who feel the work is clarity. So actually 84% of our employees are happy, satisfied, constructive, engaged in what we are doing. And that is typically for a small company on the countryside. A lot of people have worked here a long time. A lot of people come from the neighborhood. Know each other, but we also have a lot of people who has come to Finland as refugees who have started in production working here. So we are a very mixed group of people. Also, what is very nice to see is that we have a high degree of what is called net promoter scores. We have a lot of people who would recommend us as a workplace. We obviously also have somebody who is not always satisfied, but I still think this is a very good score, especially when you compare it to otherwise. So in general, we have a tight community here. Work, currently I cannot offer any jobs. We are fully booked, but we are planning every year. We are employing typically about 15 blue collars to cover our summer production and our peak season. And that would start typically our peak season starts in March or April, goes until June, and then in July we have the typical summer holidays. So typically we can employ summer workers from April, May until mid-end August. And then depending on the white collar, we will need 1 to 3 white collar to cover the absentees of our shift foremans, pre-production, etc. All this will be published during Q1 on the Stora Enso webpage site. So what I would recommend you to do is really to go in our internet, storaenso.com, on our career open profile position. There, if you go into search for job, tips for job seekers, sorry, and go in and create your profile. Just like Gambit mentioned, when you are applying for a job, it is very good to have your CV ready. So already now, if you are interested to work for Stora Enso, whether it's in Kristiinakaupunki or anywhere else of the 6,250 workplaces we have today, go in and create your profile. You are then in our system, and if a job comes up, you can create an alarm, so you will get a job profile, a job advertisement to you, but also it will be a lot faster to seek a job when you have it ready. That was all for me. I hope anybody was hearing it also.
Yes, thank you, Mats. This was really interesting. Now we have time for one question. So anybody, do you have questions to Mats? I didn't know about that you are doing this kind of work in Kristiinankaupunki, but I'm really happy to hear.
No, we are very small, but actually we are very important because, as you know, there is a huge vegetables greenhouse industry in the southern part of Ostrobotnia, and actually a lot of our product goes to the tomato, cucumber industry, value industry, but also ABB in Vaasa is our customer. They have a lot of products, so they have a lot of different boxes. They probably are our most complicated customer.
Okay, I can imagine.
Oh.
Okay, but thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And we move on again. And next one we have let me see, we have Hitachi ABB Power Grids. We have Marcello Cucinotta and Marika Kuusisto. Are you ready?
Yes.
You are there.
Let's see if you can see my screen soon. Can you see my presentation at the moment?
Mats, can you stop sharing your presentation? So maybe after that.
Sorry, missed it.
No problem.
No, I think you can try, Marcello.
Yeah. Now maybe?
Yes.
Yes. So, good afternoon everybody. Marcello Cucinotta, and here to tell you something about Hitachi ABB Power Grids. Trying myself also to get used to this new name as we have moved away from ABB partly, but the name still exists there, and we have a new company nowadays. I will tell something about myself first. So I was born in Vaasa in Finland here, half Italian. Father is from Italy, mother is from Finland. I've been doing all my schools here in Vaasa, and also worked here in different kind of places and positions. And here you can see a little bit about my schooling, what I've done. I've been to Vaasa Vaasa University, and there I studied master's degree in industrial management. Before that, I did in University of Applied Sciences, Bachelor of Business Administration, and then I have also been to exchange in Rangsit University in Bangkok, and also this upper secondary graduate school, and afterwards I've also done some project management courses in George Washington University via web. So this is my schooling, what I've done. So everything you can see here. I currently work in Hitachi ABB Power Grids as area sales manager, and my responsibilities is transformers. Here on the right side you can see a transformer. I have to admit that I wasn't that aware of transformers before I moved to ABB, so I wasn't that technical guy from the beginning, but now I have all the time learned how to learn and been doing quite a lot of work to get more to this kind of engineering mindset. My first job in ABB was in project management, and then there was a project manager. I worked 4 years there. I had a global role, so I had transformer design, manufacturing, installation, transportation, documentation, the full scope of belonging to this product. And the role in that was global, so I did from Asia to America, all between that. And then after 4 years I was then hired as a head of project management, and that I worked 1 year 2 months. And this work was also something that I didn't consider that will happen so early in my career, but was an interesting period for me and a really valuable position that I also had the chances to lead people and a full project management team. And but I was always from the mindset a sales guy. That is something I did also before my ABB career, and then a position opened in sales, and currently I've been working there now a little bit over 3 years now, also calculated this Hitachi time of 5 months, and Sweden and Norway is my main area for mainstream transformers. So I'm area sales manager and also a product manager, and my daily work language is English and Swedish, and then partly also Norwegian sometimes. So there is a lot of customers, when they hear that I speak Swedish, then they start talking Norwegian to me and I speak Swedish to them, and we get along fine. So I'm able of using quite a lot of languages in my daily work. Here you can see a little bit about my professional experience. I think we can start with this first position where I was working in top camping area, responsibilities in customer service, etc. And then some months I did furniture supplier work, and then this is maybe the work that I'm most proudest of. You can see the teddy bear there called Vallenalle. So I worked also in Vaasalandia, an amusement park that we had here in Vaasa, which is now closed, unfortunately, but I was this teddy bear for 1 summer and it was extremely fun. And I can tell that also a lot of my presentation skills and fun ongoing guide I am came from this work. Then during my studies I worked in Top Sport 5 years 6 months, and that's also closed nowadays, but it was a sports shop when I was a salesperson there, and this is where my career actually started, or how I ended up in ABB. It was because of one guy just visiting the shop who I used to know and know nowadays also, and he just said that there's an open position in transformer factory as a project manager, and then I decided to apply for that. And the process went so that there was first call where I had to present myself and they asked some questions. Then we had some psychological test that I did, and then finally third one was personal interview, and then I was hired there. But there are many ways how to get into ABB. There is a lot of people who go making a thesis or applying for a summer job, and my way was this way. But I can also say that for those people who are trying to get in to the companies, it can be that it doesn't happen with the first time, but then maybe the second or third time it can be something that can end up in a work relationship. So I also applied the same time when I applied for this teddy bear. I applied for ABB, but I didn't come in at that time, and nowadays I'm working there. So yes, a little bit about the license certifications. I have yellow belt in Lean Six Sigma, and then I'm also ABB certified project manager. Language is English, Finnish, German, Italian, Spanish basics, and so on. Good. Also about the work-life balance, what I do on my spare time, because this is really important. It's really important from that perspective that when you are applying, it's much more better chances when you have, you are connected with the people, you are meeting people, you are doing a lot of stuff together. So that opens usually. I noticed also Lukuman was here and in this meeting, and he gave a really good impression about himself. He's one of the persons listeners here, and I visited one event, and that was a good example. For example, he is a person who is not native Finnish language speaker, but he was so brave that he held the presentation in Finnish language, and these kind of things, when you are around and being present, this makes good impressions, and all good things can happen. I will just start with the video. Let's see that I will get the voice also here. Just let's see. Can you hear the voice?
No.
Let's see. Just a second. This is exactly what I was afraid of.
Did you put the when you started to share? Did you put the voice on?
Let's see.
If you stop sharing and share again, then there should be the
now I found it. Yes.
Yeah, good.
Okay, let's give it a try.
Yes.
We all have something in common. We live on this planet, and this planet gives us life, a journey to fulfill, a future. And we all began that journey somewhere. For Hitachi and ABB Power Grids, our legacies are interlinked. From our humble beginnings in the copper mine industry over 100 years ago, both companies have grown globally, diversifying our lines of business, and both contributing to society with new technologies. This is the power that brought us together. And together, we can reduce our impact on the planet by bringing sustainable energy to more people. The challenge is laid out before us. It requires the vision to foresee a stronger, smarter, and greener grid, and the dedication to increase quality of life through digital innovation. Bringing social innovation to every corner of the globe. To make this happen, we advance collaborative creation with our academics and governments. Together, we can encourage the next innovation. Only through co-creation and cutting-edge digital solutions can we create new customer values to make life on this planet better for everyone. Together, powering good for sustainable energy.
Okay, so I will tell in the beginning already now that we are a huge company globally, so we have a lot of things that we are covering from the grids perspective. So I will try to be effective on this, and you will have the material also available then later on. So it's good that it's having quite a lot of information, but I will present it quite briefly. So you also heard now about the history, and if we look at this ASEA and Brown Boveri, so that was the beginning, and then ABB 1988, and now we are then Hitachi ABB Power Grids. And a lot of things has of course happened during that, but now when we are together with a Japanese company, I think that this is a good new start also for us, and I'm looking excited about that. So what we have as a global footprint, we have 4 business units. So we have grid automation, grid integration, high voltage, and transformers. We are present in 19 countries, and we have over 200 offices globally. I myself work in a factory which is located in Strömberg Park and working for transformers. 36,000 employees, over 100 years of pioneering innovation. Then you can see a little bit about sales employees, engineers, and headquarters is in Zurich, Switzerland still this day. There is a little bit about the business mix. You can see on the right side, focusing quite a lot on the utility sides, products, biggest size of offerings, AMEA area, and Europe and America. So we are covered everywhere around globally, and also on the different mix on the. Here you can see a little bit about the attractive market with high growth segments. So utilities is the biggest. Then we can see that there is a big wheel that we will grow that one a little bit more. Also the industries, mobility. On the right side you can see the high growth segments. You all maybe are aware of this, that especially this EV charging is a big coming for the electrical cars and buses, etc. Also microgrids, rail, data centers is something that we are doing quite a lot of work currently, also in Scandinavia area, and all these other as well. We also have service. So of course, when we have the products, we need to have the service as well. That is especially important when you are having this kind of 100,000 kilo transformers, which are costing 1 million. So you have to have the service in place, that you don't end up in failures, etc. So there we have over $200 billion in installed base, over 200 service locations, also 5,500 employees working on that one, and we are covered, as you can see, all around the world. So this also gives a good opportunities from the work perspective, that in case someday I would like to move to some other country and learn how to work there, it's easy to just apply. We are constantly having this kind of opportunities coming that you can apply to different countries to work. Here a little bit you can still see the 4 segments that we are in, and yes, we'll not go too detailed to that one to save a little bit time, but yes, we are in these ones now mainly. Before this Hitachi ABB, we had an even higher variety and bigger portion of different kind of products and services, but now we are focusing on these 4. Yes. Here is a little bit about the future for our customer employees, and working with Hitachi. As I told you, this is a good opportunity to combine the feelings quality and the mindset of quality in Japan, and looking forward to that one. And we are a lot of expectations also on the expansion side. So we are we currently announce also that we are hiring 30 more people to our factory to different kind of positions, and we will have a new line there made for windmill transformers. So even though the corona time has been quite tough, so we have been able of going forward in a good way. Yes, here is a little bit about the growth still. You can see that going forward, so looking good. People need still electricity. Yes, and here is a little bit about in summary that we are focusing on the sustainable energy, profitability, sustainable growth, and customers and people. We have a lot of different kind of people from different kind of backgrounds, and that is the greatness also that I've always been talking this, that we are an engineering company in such way, but my background is not in engineering, so we need all kind of people, and it's kind of the school is kind of a driver's license card, and then when you are going to this kind of work, then you start really driving and learning all the time. So you are having every day different kind of schoolings and opportunities to spread your knowledge and to learn. Yes, here is still a little bit about the market size. We are talking in billions, so yes, big figures. Grid automation separately, a little bit of the figures as well. Supporting 50% of the top 250 global electric utilities, and this is especially that you won't maybe see in every place the logos, but especially the utility side, ABB and Hitachi has been of long time known. Here is a little bit about the grid automation products that they are having and services. Yes, then we have grid integration. They plan, they build, they operate. Also in their operations, they need many times transformer, and we are collaborating quite a lot. So this was also for the easiness of being easy towards the customers, that we can have the products built on the same level of organization that we need each other all the time. So it's a little bit, let's say, easier towards the customers and from the customer perspective to understand our offerings nowadays. Also grid integration, a part of this, what they are having. You can get to know this later on. I will save you from this one. And then where I work in transformers. So big, heavy equipment that you can see quite often on the roads or in factories. I see them all the time nowadays. Before I didn't even notice them. And also the components and software and services is a big business for us. So you need all kind of supporting stuff for the equipment. Now I will let Marika Kuistor, Talent Acquisition Manager, to tell a little bit about the career at Hitachi ABB Power Grids, and I thank you.
Thank you, Marcello. Yes, my name is Marika Kuistor, so I'm responsible for employer branding and recruitments at Hitachi ABB Power Grids in Finland, and I decided to bring one slide here as a practical things for you if interested in applying to our company. So of course we have lots of career opportunities in the company. That 702 is of course worldwide. We don't have that many open positions in Finland, but we do have open positions all the time in Finland as well. So you can actually find all the open positions at our webpage, as our career page, Hitachi ABB Power Grids.com, and then choose careers. There you can see the open positions. Language requirements are always stated in the job ad, so that if the Finnish language skills, for example, is required. Wanted to inform you also that all roles that do not require Finnish language skills are also advertised at jobs workinfinland.fi. There we will inform all the positions that require only English. So you can look at that side as well. Then a little bit about early careers. So main channel for all our trainee positions are through summer jobs. So we are going to apply summer trainees in January, February. The duration for summer jobs are about 1 to 4 months, and many that have started as a summer trainees for us continue later on as trainees in the company. The same goes with thesis students. So the ones that are trainees in our company come up with the thesis subject as well when working for us and continue with that later on. It's also very good to, when going to our career page, if you are a student, for example, or just graduated, you can put an entry level when searching open positions and put there like under 2 years of work experience, and then you will find those jobs that are not required, not requiring that many years of experience. We have, of course, lots of different job functions there. So central functions, consulting services, engineering, many think that we have only engineering positions in our company, but of course there are lots of things going on and lots of roles that we are looking for. So those job functions you will also see or find in our career page, and when clicking them you can see the roles that exist there. Some tips when applying, or if you are interested in careers at the Hitachi ABB Power Grids, you can create a candidate profile in our career page. When as somebody said earlier also, that it is easier to then apply for a specific job when you have the profile ready there. If you put the unlock profile there, then we in HR can also see your profile, and we can access your profile in order to be considered also for other jobs that match your interest. So that's a very good tip for you as well. Then you can of course set up a job alert and raise an email as soon as there is an opening for you. So you can make that as well. And as many have mentioned here, the personal touch, the contact is extremely important. So on the job ad there is always a person to call, so who can give you more information about the role. So call for additional information, introduce yourself, so that the hiring manager will get to know you a little bit better on the call already. Okay, I think we are already over time a bit. I'm sorry about that, but I will gladly answer all your questions afterwards, if any.
Thank you, Marika and Marcello.
Thanks.
And Marcello, it was nice that you shared your story with the pictures. Okay, there really short question to Marika. Sami is asking here, how many summer work positions are you offering next summer?
Yeah, we are trying to figure it out at the moment. Last year we had about 70, so I would presume that that is around that figure as well.
Okay, thank you. Now we have to continue. Thank you, Thank you. So our next speaker is Yuha from Kone-Ketonen. Are you here, Yuha? Is Yuha here?
Oh, sorry, my microphone was muted. Pardon for that. But you can see me, I guess.
Yes, we see you and we hear you. Welcome.
Yes, thank you. And thank you for having me over here. And I want to start with the presentation so that we can move along very quickly. So I represent the company called Kone-Ketonen, which produces kettle harvesters. Those are the harvester heads which chop the trees so that, for instance, Stora Enso can build cardboard boxes. And Kone-Ketonen Oy was established at 1984, but it has an older history before that. But that is the foundation that it really started with in the beginning of 80s, and that was very close to the sea. It was very close to the harbor, the old harbor in Kristinestad, and from there in the early 90s they had to start to build a new factory, which is then on the industrial area in Kristinestad, and that's the present place where we nowadays also have our head office. And what comes to our product, this is an example from the 870 model, which is a very big one. Actually, we have some models that represents the number size of 1000, and that's the largest one. But with this already, you can produce trees that have very close to 1 meter's diameter. So they are very huge and hardly ever used even in Europe. So mainly they go to Russia or US, Canada, South America. And here are some of the examples of the heads which we produce worldwide. And moving along with the history from 2001 to 2020 to 10, there's been some new deals, especially, as I already mentioned, to South America, but also to Japan. And one of our biggest products has been Kettle 150 Eco Processor, and that has actually been sold very many globally, and that's a medium-sized harvester head. And where we lie right now is over 5,000 pieces distributed to 30 different countries worldwide. So it's coming from Kristinestad. I even have to say that I'm quite proud of representing the company that is truly made in here with own money, so to speak. And the latest decade has been the leading for Japanese markets. Belarus has been there as well very strongly. And for this very moment, we are building our new strategy in North America due to the board made by Komatsu. They bought our old distributor Quadco, and we are establishing a new relationship with that as well. But it's not that easy because we are very strong already in Japan, and of course Komatsu is a Japanese company, but they are operating in US. So it's not that easy when you have competition originating to the same countries. And as it says as well, eucalyptus markets are also very strong. That hasn't been our strongest side for the past years, but I hope that in the near future we can also challenge the bigger market leaders in eucalyptus markets as well. And this is just a very simple, typical example of Kettle 150 used in Japan, and because mainly they process their logs on the open and flat field, trees are located on the side of the mountains, from where they are usually pulled as complete trees, and then they are processed on the flat ground, because that makes it much more easier and more lucrative way to harvest the trees. And here are the main competition, where we can see John Deere, Ponsse, AFM, Komatsu, Kesla, Keto, Tigercat, Nisula, and then there are some other Caterpillar, but they don't make harvester heads anymore. So as basically the harvester head markets is divided like this, but then you have the base machines, which makes the competition a bit more tricky. But this is how it divides with the markets on harvester heads. And here is just another example of a Caterpillar excavator using a Keto 150 eco processor. And as you can see, this place is already quite dangerous to use an excavator, but apparently they managed to do that. But no one can really tell how deep is the drop if you fall off from there. So it's mainly, this is not the way how they do it in Japan, for instance. And here's just for the sake of variety, a Keto 500 is installed on a Volvo excavator. So the main idea in Finland or in Scandinavia is that people think that it's only processed in the forests, but that's not the case. It's mainly in here, but in US, South America, Australia, Japan, all these foreign countries, or mainly in these foreign countries, logs are usually processed on open fields. So that's why we produce harvester heads mainly for the excavators. And yes, here we have one more, but you got the picture. And here was the latest generation change, and the first one actually made as well. So Lauri Ketonen, founder and the owner of Kone-Ketonen Oy, gave me the torch, and I'm happy to carry that. And it's been a very challenging year, especially for a new managing director. And but I have got a very nice and good support from the whole company and our collaborators. So it's really been a pleasure, despite the tough times, to be and manage the company with such a long history. And our strategy in the near future is, of course, to be in young people's minds, of course in elders as well, but the future is on young people. And of course to be taken as accountable employer, because we are still a small company. Our turnover is around 6 million euros. Now we are going to unfortunately face a depreciation with minus 25%, give or take. So that has hit us very much, of course. And it is, of course, very important that we can also be, and I mean, like the metal industry and heavy industries needs to elevate its appeal and to be attractive among future young workers. It's very important, and I'm glad to see the representations from Stora Enso and Hitachi ABB, for instance, that you are also doing the best work that you can do in order to keep young people interested about these heavy industry branches. And as I said, it's very tough to get new employees. So we would be very interested to have trainees and diploma workers, final theses, and please send them to this web page. So we are looking very much forward to get those applications. Unfortunately, for the moment, we cannot accept so many of the work applications, because, well, I guess everyone knows how tough the time is. So, but anyway, we are very interested about the new workers, new students.
Thank you, Yuha. This was really interesting. What about language requirements? Do you require Finnish and Swedish, or is English enough?
I would say that when you operate in 30 different countries, an applicant can't actually produce a language that we couldn't use. So the more the merrier.
Very
but
good.
the baseline is, of course, either you need to speak Finnish or Swedish, and from there you can build it on, and you can get along here very quickly if you know either of these languages. By English or some other languages, you could get by, but then we would have to make some special arrangements. And of course, if you have a high talent on something which we can use, then of course you can be considered on board a bit with a bit different job description.
Thank you. Any other questions to Yuha? No. Okay. Well,
Yes.
thank you a lot. This was, as I said, this was really interesting to learn more about the forestry and harvesting.
Thank you.
Pictures. Yes.
I try to be as brief as possible so we can have the time to use for the later. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Okay. Yes, so we continue, and our next speaker is Tiia-Maria Kinnula from Wärtsilä. Are you, Tiia, here? Do you hear me?
Yes, I'm here. Thank you.
Good.
Please let me know. I'm going to share my presentation, so let me know if you can see it.
Yes, we see it.
Great. And just probably like you know that if I'm in presenter mode, I cannot see any comments or any questions in the chat, but holler at me if there's something I should read, or then we can look at those at the end. But okay, firstly, so my name is Tiia-Maria Kinnula and I work as the HR coordinator for Wärtsilä, which means I deal with student cooperation, a lot of employer branding, and then help managers find the right talents locally. And first, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about Wärtsilä in case we are not that familiar with you, so you get the basic idea of who we are and what we do. But this is the basics of it. So we are the global leader in sustainable solutions for both marine and energy markets. We traditionally had two main businesses, so that's marine and energy. But this summer, marine was actually divided among three different businesses shown in the lower right corner. So this is Voyage, Marine Power, and Marine Systems now. But all of those are still focusing on the same vision, which is to build a smart marine ecosystem. In energy, the vision is to move towards 100% renewable energy future. And from the key figures below, I will talk to you about those later, but basically we are very international. We have over 80 different countries that we have over 200 locations in, and about 19,000 employees in Wärtsilä globally. So we do use English as the main working language. This is our purpose. So this is what really drives both our business and our internal operations. So we want to enable sustainable societies with smart technology. We are doing this by innovation, which we have been involved since 1834 when we were established, and we want to do this together. When I say together, I mean that we have a lot of partners from both our competitors and other stakeholders, and even schools and different student unions that we work with to build this sustainable future. So we have projects, we have joint ventures, we do research, we do thesis work, etc. So there's a lot of things that we need other companies and other people to establish, and that's really where we are going. Here you can see the visualization of our global presence. So as you can see, we are quite well located all around the world. In Europe, of course, we have the biggest operations, especially since we have the biggest operating cities in Finland, and the biggest city where we operate is actually Vaasa, but we are in other continents as well. Then just shortly about sustainability, because it's really in the core of our operations, especially through our purpose. These are just a few things that we have to ensure this to our stakeholders and the environment. But this, for example, includes sustainability work. And since we have only a limited amount of time, I just want to show you one example on that from the business side, and then another example on kind of this, how we support other companies side. So we had a project called Kivuvat in Africa. This was done a few years back together with other companies. And the basics of this was that there was a lake called Kivu in Africa, and it was known as the killer lake because it trapped methane gas under its waterways, and that caused an eruption threat for over 2 million people. So it was dangerous to live near the lake at the time. So what we did with our partners was that we built a power plant next to the lake that actually used the gas that was causing the threat to the people there. And that even amped up the energy production by 30%. And that percent has actually gone up. I think it's closer to 40 now. And why this is a big deal and why I wanted to bring this up is because it was actually chosen by the Project Management Institute among the top 10 renewable energy projects of the last 50 years. And this happened in 2019. And I know that we are very known for the marine side of the business, so it is very important to us also to emphasize what we are doing in the energy sector. Then this is more about the collaboration instead of being directly business related. Sea-bin is a floating waste basket that gathers trash from the oceans. As we all know, plastic trash and pollution in the oceans is a very big concern at the moment, and it's a very global issue. So we partnered up with Sea-bin and we donated the first Sea-bin to Finland when Finland turned 100 years old. And because it's a very important cause, since then we have now increased our donations and we have 33 different locations in 22 different countries, which means 40 different Sea-bins. Other companies are also donating these, and often schools or student unions are actually handling the cleanup with these as our partners. And altogether, we have now gathered over 1 million kilograms of litter. Then back to our business side, we have a lot of focus on research and development. Last year, we invested 164 million into that, and that was 3.2% of our net sales. The year before that, it was 2.7%. So this has also been rapidly increasing each year. This also means we have about 3,000 patents and patent applications pending under the Wärtsilä name. Then really shortly about the energy business. So I mentioned that our goal there is to move towards 100% renewable energy. We want to achieve this by efficient solutions that integrate different systems. So of course, the question is that if you now have a power plant that is not using renewable energy, how to make it accessible to those customers? Why would they want to switch to renewables? So we want to integrate systems that include, for example, our engines as the base load that can help with energy production if there isn't renewable energy available. So for example, if you're using solar power in Finland during the winter, it really needs to be backed up by something. But we really want to add value to the customers and make them see the affordability in moving to renewable energy. When we build power plants in general, it's not just supplying the engines or the solution. We usually do full-scale projects, which means that we design the power plants. We also design the infrastructure, so we may build the roads there, and then we maintain the power plant throughout the life cycle. So that's very much our competitive advantage, that we have full life cycle services for our power plant customers. That same goes with marine business. So in there, we actually have the world's widest service network. We also maintain ships and vessels that are not equipped with Verzilla devices because it's such extensive service that we can offer. But we also have the world's widest product portfolio in marine. And when we talk about building the smart marine ecosystem, we really mean optimization, data, and intelligent solutions. Because if you think about marine systems and being on the oceans, it's quite traditional. They are really big, really old vessels there. And we just want to make it more connective and bring digitalization to that side of business as well. And again, about our personnel, we have about 19,000 professionals, 140 nationalities, over 200 locations in more than 80 countries. In Finland, we have about 3,700 people, and 3,000 of those are in Vaasa, 300 in Turku, and 400 in Helsinki. The specialty in Turku is that they also have a land and sea academy where they are training our customers, our subcontractors, and our people, and they can also get certified in areas that are needed for operating globally. And this year we had 350 summer trainees in Finland. In Vaasa, we have all the businesses represented. Also, we have the R&D department, 2 laboratories, manufacturing, and even in Vaasa, we have 50 different nationalities. So when I talk about Wärtsilä being a global company, I truly mean that we are global in Finland as well. So even though we are in Vaasa, we have a lot of different nationalities and people with different backgrounds working in here. And of course, we are also the future home of the Smart Technology Hub that is being built in Vaskiluoto. If you don't yet know what that is, I recommend that you do a bit of research. But in short, it's a new facility that we are building that is really changing our way of working. So we will have new collaborative spaces. We are bringing manufacturing together with the R&D department so they can be more fluent with the production. And we are partnering up with many different companies and schools to make it a really great place to collaborate with different organizations. But that is actually being built at the moment, and first movers will be going there this next fall. So maybe if you get the chance to visit Vaasa next year, that's one place you should check out. But then maybe the part that might interest you the most, so our people and our needs for the future. So this is our people strategy, to have high-performing, energetic teams, exciting assignments, led by excellent leaders, inspired by our purpose. But what we estimate that are the skills that we will need in the future, and this estimate was done a few years ago, but I think it's still really valid. The technical competencies, of course, vary based on where you would be located and what your actual job would be. But I really like the enabling mindset part and the way of working. Those are really still in place. And what I like to emphasize is firstly the techno-commercial. For us, this means that you have technical understanding and commercial mindset. Or if you're a business student or you have studied business, we recommend that you maybe take some courses on the technology side as well. Or if you are just interested in things like IT, tech development, maybe you are into coding or something like that, that is very useful for us because then you understand both of those words, and those worlds are definitely coming together currently and in the future. Apart from that, we want solution-focused people. So instead of just looking for a problem and fixing it, we want people who can find solutions for problems that we don't yet have, who are also curious and want to question the way we are doing things now and have solutions for what we could try instead. So instead of saying that I don't want to do it like this, we want people to actually suggest better ways of doing them. And in the way of working sector, service design is something that's been popping up all over the world, I think, in the last few years. We also have a few service designers. So that's something that if you're interested in taking courses on, for example, I would recommend. For us, the service design mindset kind of means the fact that we are considering the customer journey. So we are trying to make being in contact with Wärtsilä and working with Wärtsilä as easy as possible. And that also works for internal services. So I work for HR. And for example, when we are considering our customers, we are talking about all Wärtsilä employees. So we are thinking about how they are contacting us, if it's hard or easy for them, and how can we make it better, and what is the need for that customer specifically. On top of that, project management methods, definitely. We are moving from process-based work to project-based work. This means that even though I work in HR, I'm also currently involved at least in 2 different projects with 2 different teams, and those teams are cross-functional. So I'm representing HR, someone else is representing communications, and the third person is representing manufacturing. So it's very important to be able to both manage yourself and the project and work with other people. Lastly, on this slide, I would like to emphasize the Sprint Agile Scrum part. We are really piloting a lot of Agile methods currently. I know it's a bit of a buzzword, but I find it very interesting. And there are a lot of methods and maybe ideologies and mindset related issues that are really interesting, and I think they are really here to stay. So if you haven't studied or heard of Agile, that's something that I recommend you find out about. Because when we are hiring new people, we do appreciate that they understand the mindset and the values behind Agile, because it's something that's definitely being used in project work currently, but it's evolving into other areas of business as well. This is more or less the same, but represented as an ideal Wärtsilän. So we are looking for people with different backgrounds, people who have a bright human mind and a beating heart. So we want people who are empathetic to others, take ownership, and also are behind our values of environmental friendliness. In the people skills, there are things like networking, fun to work with, empowered, and charismatic. These don't mean that we are only looking for people who are really social and extroverted, but we want people who are different, who complement the team, and who are more than willing to work with others. We will always have work that you do independently, but during these projects that we often have, it's very important that you both want and are willing to work with others, and that you are an easy person to do that with, so that we can also enjoy the work. And again, here are a lot of leading skills, including project management and self-leadership, and the curious mind, problem solver, and techno-commercial. So these are really the trends that we are seeing. And I have also gathered a few tips from our managers. These are especially meant for trainees. So if you are considering studying or you are a student, these are especially for you. This is just a really basic list of things that some managers have found useful in their line of work. So for example, in the office side, they're using a lot of SAP and Excel and Power BI. Power BI is also used for engineering, and NX and Salesforce are very good skills to have, or very good programs to have skills on in that side. In IT and IM, C#, Python, SQL, but basically if you're interested in, for example, coding, any languages that you know in that side are seen as a benefit. Additional language skills in general are good, especially if you're interested in the financial side. We have this Wärtsilä Shared Service Center that is the basic unit for all financial functions in Wärtsilä, and they deal with all the different Wärtsilä countries. So if you're dealing with China, it's very useful if you understand China yourself. But the main working language there is also English. Then I encourage you to be proactive and network. Joining events like this is a very good step. Also, if there are any volunteer groups or other student unions or any associations that you can use to make contacts, that's very beneficial. And then again, mention the project management and agile skills. In the basic work life skills, we have things like knowing the application process, understanding Microsoft Office, Teams, and Outlook. Those are things that you will also learn on the job, but might be worth mentioning in your CV if you have knowledge on this, because it's not given anymore as there are so many different programs that companies can use. I know we are running out of time soon, so I'm just going to go through this very fast. This is the basic trainee search that we have. So if you're a student or you're starting your studies in the maybe January, February, this is something that I recommend for you. It will begin in January 2nd, And this will include around 500 summer jobs in Finland. Of course, we still don't know for sure what the effects of Corona is for the next summer, but we will still have the program and we will still have hundreds of summer jobs in Vaasa, Helsinki and Turku. Suomen mentori positions mentioned below are graduate positions, will be posted separately. And if we have on-call trainee positions, those mean part-time work that is done during your studies. But all positions can be found from wärtsilä.com/careers or careers.wärtsilä.com. For example, currently we have 13 different vacancies in Finland. 1 is for a trainee position, 10 are technical positions, and 2 are commercial positions. But we really are publishing new vacancies every day. So I also recommend, like I think someone from ABB did before, that you can also already create your candidate profile and put this kind of search on that you get notified if something interesting comes up. And as they also said, we also always list our managers in the vacancy texts. So if there is their phone number or email, you are welcome to contact them if you want to stand out. Just remember to have a specific question, not just to call them to say that you applied. You can, for example, ask about the team, the office, the culture, the main responsibilities, the main difficulties, or something like that. It's actually very easy to stand out when you do that because a lot of candidates don't even consider it. This is our Instagram account. If you want to know more about Wärtsilä and see our people and their stories, this is a good place to start. So it's Wärtsilä Voice. Okay, now you can comment if you have other questions. These were given to me beforehand, and I can answer these unless you have anything else specific.
Thank you, Maria. This was really interesting again. We have one question.
Okay.
Which types of project management certifications do you value at Wärtsilä?
In most positions, I don't think that they mention a specific place you should have gotten certified. So the requirement can be a certification, which is not even often the case. But if you have any kind of project management certification, I think it's valued already by its own.
Okay. And now we are running out of time. So if you take one of those questions and give a short answer.
Okay, I can take the middle one. So for example, for instance, Corona hasn't changed our recruitment that much, so I'm not going to go into that. But if you want comments on your CV, I recommend using LinkedIn. That's really used in Finland. So you can get comments on people in the industry that you're interested in. And I recommend always asking at least 2 different people on comments because there are many opinions as there are people. And if you want, you can also, of course, add me on LinkedIn. I have quite a wide network, so I'm happy to help if there's something that you want to ask later on.
Thank you. Thank you. Really good. Lukumanu has a short question.
Okay.
Yes, actually, I know the time is fast spent. A compound question. First is Wärtsilä has this smart ecosystem challenge that they organize. I think they organized one a couple of years ago. I don't know whether next year they'll be organizing one. So I would like to know about that. But I'll leave the other question for you directly on LinkedIn.
Okay, yeah. We will probably organize that next fall. This year it had to be cancelled because of COVID, but hopefully it will be in the new Smart Technology Hub. So keep posted on that.
Thanks.
Thank you. Wow, we have really amazing companies here in Ostrobotnia region, from Kristinestad to until what is that called? Pietarsaari, Jakobstad. And now we have Kaisa Mäkinen from Talent Scout Project from Kristinestad, and Kaisa is going to give you more tips for your job search. So please, Kaisa, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Anna. Let's see, my presentation is here. Yeah, let's get started because we are running out of time. Can you see me and can you hear me? Anna, can you confirm?
Yes, we see
okay,
and
thank
hear.
You. Okay, so my name is Kaisa Mäkinen and I work as a project manager for a project called Talent Scout. And I'm based in Kristinestad or Kristiinan kaupunki. And the aim of the project is to attract more workforce to Kristinestad. And this project is implemented by the Business Center in Kristinestad in collaboration with Concordia in Jakobstad. So today I'm going to share you some job search tips. And you already got some very nice tips, but I will tell 5 more. So here we go. So don't wait for open vacancies, send open applications to companies and send these applications to companies that share your values, that motivate you, that has the wow effect on you. Because I think it's very important that you find a company to work at that feels like your thing. And work is so much more than just earning money. It has to also be satisfactory on the personal level. And when you send your CV and your cover letter to the company, so when you've done that, please also do some kind of a follow-up. You can call them if you don't hear anything, maybe send another email. Just be persistent. And job tip number 2, let's see here. There. Make your CV and cover letter appealing. In today's world, we get so exposed to very beautiful images and, Instagram, Pinterest, beautiful layouts on websites. We get hundreds and thousands of beautiful images every day. So I would say that nowadays it's not enough to just have a plain Word document, that you could do the little extra. And here's an example of a very nice tool you can use to design your CV. It's called Canva. I'm not sure you've heard about it, but it's a very nice page you can go to and make beautiful content. And job search tip number 3. Make sure you emphasize your skills. You need to market yourself and you need to market your skills. You can think that why should this employer hire me? Why should this business hire me? So you could have that as a question and try to answer those in your job cover letter. If you're interested in social media, for example, and super good at social media, at posting things, mention that. And if you're a brilliant organizer, mention that. If you can speak 3 languages or 5 languages or 10 languages, mention that. Because it's very important to try to emphasize what you're good at. The company can need those skills. And you can also back these facts up somehow. You can maybe suggest that the employer goes and has a peek, that he or she can have a look at your Instagram account, if it's not too personal, of course. Maybe you have a blog or maybe a web page. There you can show what you are capable of. And job tip number 4, try to stand out and do something different. For example, you can make a move or video of yourself and tell something about you, tell some interesting facts, and attach that to your CV. I think that would be much appreciated because moving pictures, videos, they tell so much more about a person than just a document. And you can also try to come up with some other, things, ways to stand out in the job search process. And number 5, this is the last job search tip. Let your personality shine through. Don't try to be someone you're not. Try to try to let your good qualities shine through in the CV and the job application and the video if you send a video. And to summarize these job search tips, make a CV and cover letter that reflect you. I think that is very important, that you really show who you are, so the company and the business know who they potentially will hire, and emphasize your skills. And be excited when you apply and show them you're excited and that you would really like to have this job. And the last thing, don't give up, because maybe you have to send maybe 10 applications before you get a job, but still don't give up. Try to have a positive mindset about the job search. And as I said, I'm based in Kristinestad, Kristinan kaupunki, and Stora Enso and Keto Harvesters are based here in Kristinestad, and we have also a lot of other companies, and these are only examples of some of them. And if you would like to have some more information about Kristinestad or Kristinan kaupunki, then you can have a look at the webpage, kristinestad.fi. And if you would, or if you're interested in establishing a company in Kristinestad, then you can contact the business center. Here's the email address, and here's the crew of the business center. To the left is the business advisor, Antoni Hannes. Thank you. And if you want to follow us on Instagram, here you can find our accounts. And I'm happy to answer your questions if you have any.
Thank you, Kaisa, for these really fresh ideas and tips for job search.
Thank you.
Any questions to Kaisa? Lukumanu, yes.
Kaisa, I would love to ask that, first of all, there is this practical kind of information that in Finland, your network is your net worth, right? Therefore, as international students, most of our problems are that we find it hard to network with Finn because we are new here and we don't understand the culture so well to know how to approach Finns. So in your opinion, how can an international approach you as a Finn, and what kind of approach will be best for you to, get the person gets a response from you?
Thank you for your question, Lukumanu. I would advise you to just do the same things that Finns do. Just try to blend in and try to network. That's my advice. Did that answer your question?
And how does we want the practicalities in the network and not just network, because we've been hearing network, but without specific processes as to how to. Therefore, you realize a lot of internationals try one or two ways they believe is okay, but doesn't work. So they have the impression that, well, Finns are so hard to break into, like they're kind of a block to break. So as a Finn, how would you want an international person to approach you?
Well, another advice I would just try to talk to someone if you attend a hobby or something, some kind of a sport or language course, because we have the reputation that we are very hard to approach, but I don't think it's really true. So just, I don't know exactly how to be more specific, but for example, through hobbies, if you play football, if you sing and you join a choir, then you can start to talk to the people and they talk to you, and maybe you can establish some kind of a friendship or relationship.
Yes. Francesca, you were the first one, and after that, Mats.
Sorry, put the mic on as well. Thank you so much, everybody, and also the camera. Sorry for that. Thank you so much, everybody, and Kaisa, particularly in the end, and of course Lukumanu for your activity as always. Guys, I was trying to break the ice, how to get in contact with the Finns. Yes. And I would also add to that the local Lions Club, for example, we sent some information to the Talent Coastline LinkedIn group for that. They were wishing to have more members there. I know the Rotaract are quite active here as well. So these kinds of communities, or what would we call them, could also be a perfect way to approach sort of a work-wise way. So keep in mind those as well, and for more information in that group, you'll find that.
Thank you. And then Mats, you wanted to say something.
Yeah, I just want to correct the Finns a little bit. I think it has improved a lot the last 30 years, but I remember myself when I joined Finland, it was very hard to get Finnish friends. And I just think you have to do what you like to do. You have to try to get out to the people, but there is no magic wand to network. It is really just to be open. It's a little bit like flirting. If you go home every evening, there's nobody to flirt with. The only way is to get out where people are and try to interact. So sorry, no magical wand. And then with Finns, I'm a Dane. You have to give them time to get to know you. It just takes time. I mean, I remember when I was at Neste Chemicals, they gave a leaflet out for summer students, and they said, if you have met the boyfriend of your life, then you want to get to know him, you better ask for a 3 months extension of your contract, because that's the time it's going to take before he invites you out. And I think this is a little bit the Finnish way. You have to give time, because they heat up, but they do it slowly. Thank you.
I agree. Yes. And then do we have more questions? Oh, okay. But hey, thank you, speakers. Thank you, participants. This was really interesting, and I think that we all found that really useful in our lives. And we will continue talent cafes in December. And actually, I'm not sure about the theme on December, but we will let you know. And in January, we will have the topic will be CVs and other application documents, because as somebody was asking about that kind of information, and yes, we will do it in January. But thank you everybody for joining this Talent Cafe number 5, and have a nice evening, and see you in December. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank
you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.